All right, y'all, what's happening? This is the June edition of the 101 with the Supervillain series with me, your resident supervillain. We're recording this. It is Father's Day and Juneteenth, and it's just crazy. And I was supposed to did this one a little bit earlier, but I got caught apologizing. I'll talk about it in a second. But I just, this woman surprises me every time I see her. Now she's got this beautiful green hair. You go, girl. What's up, Jolene? I see. How are you?
I'm good. Happy Father's Day. Happy Juneteenth as
Thank
well,
you.
I guess.
Yeah, we'll talk about that part later. No, so what happened was, so my daughter, so I had to call my daughter because I was like, yo, I haven't heard from you. Where's my Happy Father's Day?
Seriously, rude.
She was trying to call my Facebook Messenger on my tablet, and my tablet wasn't on. Because her mom was like, she been waiting on a response for like 2.5 hours. I was like, I'm so sorry.
How dare you, Jay?
I know. I felt terrible.
It's like, I'm gonna yell at you. Oh shit, it's my fault.
It was literally I was like, oh, baby daddy is so sorry. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. She drew me 2 beautiful pictures.
Aww.
And then sent me a Happy Father's Day. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, because my son called me and my daughter called. Like, my son called. They both normally call me. And I was like, I haven't heard from my daughter yet. And I was like, that's weird. I can see it more of my son not hearing from him because, he's the older one. And so.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me see some real quick. There's a little bit of feedback coming from yours. Just a little bit.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, just a little bit.
It might be my ceiling fan.
Okay, that's probably what it is. No worries. So how have you been?
I'm pretty good, enjoying my new hair.
I see. What made you decide to go that color?
So the She-Hulk trailer dropped.
Yes.
And look, the effects, whatever. But then I'm like, dark green's a real great hair color. And then I'm thinking about like Orion's from Star Trek, Viper from Marvel, Agent Brand, Abigail Brand from Marvel. I'm like, green hair is really great. And like looking through, just like green hair images on Google, I'm like, that's the shade I want.
You're like, you know what? This is what we're gonna do. I saw the trailer.
Next up, I'll probably do purple.
Okay. Have you watched Ms. Marvel yet?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good.
I keep telling everybody, like somebody was like, they didn't know if they wanted to watch it yet. I said, listen, it is an MCU Nickelodeon show. I will say that, but if you like Scott Pilgrim versus the World, you will love this show.
So Hawkeye's my favorite, bar none.
Okay.
This is like climbing the ranks real fast.
Real quick.
Yeah. It's like, no, look, Hawkeye's great. There's no world-ending threat. It's just like, honestly, if Kate and Clint die, it's not like the city gets taken over.
This is true.
It's just like some problems that these people have to deal with. Like, and all of the other ones are like, nah, there's the fate of a world, universe, whatever, timelines, multiverse. And I'm like, all right, and WandaVision is like, I don't know, like, it's pretty good, but frustrating. Captain America Civil War, Captain American Winter Soldier, or Falcon and Winter Soldier. And that one's like, well, yes, we know the problems of that. So
yeah.
Moon Knight is like the one that's like, whatever, go away, I guess.
That's how you feel about Moon Knight?
Yeah, like, I didn't know much or care about Moon Knight from the comics. I know some things.
Okay.
The show did not make me want to find out more.
Okay, that's fair. But you know what? I think that's the thing too. Like, there's so many. I was talking to a friend of mine, and they were like, I feel like some of these shows are hit and miss, and I'm like, you got to remember, all the characters now we're getting, for the most part, are very obscure characters. We're not getting a lot of the mainstream ones from right now.
I just heard a story about there's gonna be a Wonder Man show.
Yes.
Talk about characters that even the Marvel fandom don't like.
I'm gonna be honest. When they did the White Vision in WandaVision, I thought it was going to be Wonder Man. Because they did like interviews, like they were all, how they do all those little behind the scenes with the showrunners and everything, and they had one with Jack Schaefer, and it had a picture of him in the back, and I was like, oh, because he's actually, I think he is like a clone of Vision in a sense.
Yeah, like I don't know. He's an android thing
He's
modeled
in it.
with like brain
Yeah,
patterns or something.
he's
It's
somewhat like he's similar to Vision, and
yeah.
so
I
I was
just know
like,
like comic fans that I know of do not give a shit about Wonder Man at all.
they
When
don't.
he's in a story, they're like, ugh.
Again, they're doing the Thunderbolts, and I was like, yo, this would have worked. Like, it's going to be interesting to see how the Thunderbolts work without Thunderbolt Ross. I mean, yes, you have the Contessa, you got Julia Louis-Dreyfus' character driving the,
Like he's not even like a long-standing character involved with the Thunderbolts, though.
just the name,
Yeah,
just the
it's
name.
like I mean, Thunderbolts were like, hey, we're the heroes. We're secretly Hydra. We're secretly villains, but like, and then it became the Suicide Squad, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
then like Luke Cage was in them, running them for a while.
Which was weird.
I mean, look, it was part of the Initiative era, I think.
Yeah, but the thing, like we're saying with the characters now, was going back to with the characters, they're building a lot of characters a lot of people don't know, and I understand that. And so, but the thing is, and I think you and I might have talked about this in previous ones before.
Time is
There
a
are
flat circle, so probably.
there are some people whose only Marvel knowledge is now the MCU.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
mean,
there's some people who aren't they don't know about the runs and all those different stories.
I mean, like I got into comics through cartoons, so yeah, like people knew about X-Men the animated series before X-Men the comics, probably.
Yes, yes, I'm gonna guarantee a lot of people did. So, I mean, well, like I said, we'll see. Like for
Yeah,
me,
like I'm gonna watch this Wonder Man show. Like the idea of like superhero android that wants to be a Hollywood actor, I'm like that could be fun, but let's see how they do it. You know?
that's the thing. I'm like, how I want to see the ego you give him. I want to see the ego, like, cause he's got to have, cause like, dude is egotistical as hell. Like,
Yeah, like I don't know. We'll see what happens. Like, because I remember James Gunn wanted him to be in Guardians 2 with Nathan Fillion. That was going to be the Nathan Fillion cameo of that movie. He was going to be like on a poster in a background on Earth,
that sounds
and I
about
think
right.
that was cut. So,
Because they probably again, this is the thing with Kevin Feige. I respect what he's done with 27, 28 movies, but also this man literally sees a board that goes up to 10 years ahead of every time.
yeah, he's like, props to him, but I agree. I do not know her name. The actor that plays Ms. Marvel. I
The
love her so
Marvelani.
much,
Oh,
and her stories.
when she sit there, when she said she texted him, it was
Like it's not the 616. It is because I say it is. No, it's not. It's Earth 1999999. I'm like, girl, preach.
But look, that's the most beautiful. But I think you might have said it, and a couple other people was like, this is why you love having comic book fans play the characters because people have been showing the pictures of like Tom Holland when he was younger, dressing as Spider-Man. Now he's Spider-Man. Just like 3 years ago, 3 years ago, Aman Vellani had cosplayed as Miss Marvel.
Yeah, it's so great. I love the story, of course, Tom Holland, how he cannot help but spoil things. It's like, yeah, here's a picture of me, Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire.
Oh, we just hanging out eating. Hey, bro, the movie ain't came out yet. You can't just share it. Like, everybody is already assuming that's what this movie could have.
Yeah.
Like, could you not just give it away?
He's the funniest. He's the worst at it. I love that precious man.
He is so sweet. I love the fact for Miss Marvel, for me, I also am happy. I love the show, but having two actual friends in it really helps.
Nice.
The brother's fiance
Oh, yeah.
is my friend Trevina, and the dude that runs the gyro truck is
my
boy Azar. So like when I was watching, I was literally watching it because they'll send us the screeners when I was catching my Greyhound bus from Birmingham to Indianapolis. So I was in the bus terminal and I just had time to kill, and they had set the screener. So I was like, I'm gonna watch Miss Marvel at this bus terminal.
Yeah.
And so as soon as I saw him pop up, I paused it and texted him. I said, "Hey!" He was like, "Yo," he was like, "You've seen it?" He's like, "That's the crazy part." The people in it, he was like, "I ain't seen shit yet." I was like, "Bro, I just watched the first 2 episodes."
Well, congrats for them. That's awesome.
Yeah, I got a lot of friends now. Well, not a lot. I got about 6 friends who are now 6 to 7 who are in the MCU directly. I have those 2 in Miss Marvel, Tiana's Monica Rambeau, My boy Asif Ali was Norm in WandaVision. My boy Clayton English was the dude, the LARPer in Hawkeye. Was Griff, whatever his name was.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
him, that's Clayton. And I think there's one more person, but like, it's so dope to see them in. And I'm always like, how the fuck can I,
Seriously.
like I just want to, that's why I'm trying to hope like I'm gonna ride the wave with this TV show now. Like I'll be able to have more credits to do things.
Yeah,
and,
man. Like, I don't know. Kumail got in the X Files just by having an X Files podcast. So.
Oh, speaking of which, there's a reason I transitioned this way. Have you seen The Boys?
I don't watch that.
You sure don't. You sure don't.
Nope.
It's too much for you.
Garth Ennis is a writer that he's got his fans and good for them, but he is a man. So his most famous works, as far as I can, as far as I think, are The Preacher and The Boys right now.
Right.
Two genres that he is openly mocking the basis of. Like Garth Ennis notably dislikes superheroes and religion, and both The Boys and Preacher are entirely about mocking superheroes and religion. I used to be more religious. I'm more atheist, but even now I'm like, buddy, I get it. Like I get it. You dislike it.
Yeah, because he, like, everybody's tired of the trope of what if Superman was evil. We get it. It's done.
Yeah.
I'm tired of it now.
Yeah, look. Here's the thing. What if the Justice League but evil? I'm like, unless you're as good as Mark Gruenwald's run on Squadron Supreme, don't bother.
Right.
Because you're not going to be as good as that.
And then also translating it to screen is another thing.
Yeah, like that's the thing. I wish I was into it because the costumes are incredible. The actors are great, but I'm like, this is misery for me. I don't want it.
No, I get it, yeah. Because I will say this, I did not expect Jensen Ackles to be as goddamn good as he is as Soldier Boy.
I mean, look, Jensen Ackles is the best actor in Supernatural. And I know people talk about Supernatural, but he's a really good actor.
No, he's good. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's good, but he's on another level good.
Yeah, like
with what the stuff that Soldier Boy goes through.
Yeah, like I don't know anything about like he was great as Jason Todd in the voiceover stuff. He was a pretty good Batman and Batman, huh?
I said, yeah, he was the voice of Jason Todd.
Yeah, he was in Under the Red Hood, and he was in the Long Halloween. He played Batman.
He played Batman in that. Yep.
Yeah, and like Misha Collins, also a good actor. It's just Jared that sucks. Jared Padalecki is the worst actor in Supernatural, easly.
But they made him young Walker, Texas Ranger. And
he made himself that.
That's true. Like he was like, no. He was like, he made himself that.
My friend got deep into Supernatural, and now it's like fun because like she's more like aware of the Supernatural fandom as a whole. So like she sees and like quotes all the drama that's going on in the fandom between like Jensen and Jared like are fighting, and it's clearly public.
Oh, because the Supernatural prequel.
Yeah, that Jared was not involved in.
I remember that. I was like, yo. He was like, no, we're doing a Supernatural prequel. Everybody was like, yeah, Jensen, where's Jared? Yeah, we're doing a Supernatural prequel. Yeah, we hear you, but where's Sam? Where's
so funny.
The other brother? Yeah, no, we doing a Supernatural. You're like, okay, we do it.
My favorite thing she showed me recently is like, it's wild that there's Jared fans insulting Jensen's acting. I'm like, excuse you? What leg do you have to stand on?
Because so here's the crazy thing. So TNT, of course, they air the hell out of Supernatural in syndication. I bring that up because when I go to the gym, the locker room TVs are always on TNT in the morning, and it's always Supernatural. And if you just look at their faces, like not even just the dialogue and how they deliver, Jared just looks bland.
Jensen's so hot. Like he's so Jared hot.
Looks bland.
Jared. Like for the long time, I was like, I just feel bad for Sam, like because a lot of the plot lines of bad, but like rewatching and like I'm like, Sam's the worst. Jared's terrible. Jensen's so good.
I always
just want to see him covered in blood all the time because he looks incredible.
That is hilarious. Just cover him in blood. Just Oh, you're gonna see him covered in a lot of shit when y'all. Oh my God, you not. Well, you won't. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
those who watch this, who will see the boys.
And I thought it was like funny. I'm like, wait, because he auditioned to play Captain America. Is that how he got to be Soldier Boy? Because he previously did the Cap audition.
That's how for a lot of things, it's weird because that's how a lot of these actors are like, yo, I auditioned for this role, and then they get because Soldier Boy is basically Garth Ennis's take on Captain America, right?
Yeah, because he hates Captain America with a passion.
Man,
He's openly said that. I'm like, screw you, Garth.
But Captain America, let's just be real. Captain America was like a B-C list character.
Yeah, but like, having read 10 years of Captain America comics written by Mark Gruenwald, I'm like, yeah, sure, lots of Marvel characters were, but like, Cap's great. Like, he's Superman. Yeah. He's the Superman of the Marvel Universe.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, like, they have the same exact personality and beliefs.
He just can't fly.
Yeah, like, I don't have the powers, but I don't need the powers to do the right thing.
And like technically he does, but he doesn't. His
power, like, it's weird.
It's just your strongest shit and fast.
Yeah, like your peak of human capability in the Marvel Universe, which is like, not a comparable goal in the real world.
At all.
Yeah, like.
That's like in the comics how they used to show Batman bench pressing 1,000 pounds easily.
Yeah, like it's some weird shit, yeah.
Because it was always like, to me, it was like this, because we had hit the point, I think it was starting to be in the run where Bruce was like, fuck being Bruce. I'm only going to be Batman. Mm-hmm. Okay, fine. This is your job is now in all latex rubber bulletproof suits. However, when you go out the house and people see billionaire Bruce Wayne built like a brick shit house, you think nobody gonna put two and two? Why the fuck is Bruce so big? Like,
see, I think it's believable because we've seen this in Hollywood. So, people got personal trainers. What do you use all that muscle for? Just looking good. I'm an Instagram thought.
Bruce Wayne, if he was real, would be an Instagram.
He totally would. He totally would.
Be an Instagram
like,
thought.
That'd be the perfect cover for him. Hey, I'm in Ibiza this week.
Just flexing this shit. All of a sudden, Alfred, how does that look? Master Bruce, we can't keep bringing the green screen in the Batcave. Like, it's literally just all green. Like, he's got the most excellent of Photoshop skills because it's literally just Bruce oiled up in the Batcave in front of one little thing, just posing. And they got like 72 pictures on standby and just videos just waiting. Like, all right, go ahead, drop this now.
Yeah.
Now drop this.
Totally. He would be all over Instagram because it's a great cover.
It is a great. You would never suspect anything.
Oh, Batman was Ibiza. So yeah, but Bruce Wayne's busy with all those models. See,
he's fucking the models, right? No, not really. Because the rumor is still that he might have a kid. Yeah, he might have got married to Selena. They keep trying to say that he actually is secretly those are all his beards.
The wildest thing I learned recently, because I love my '90s era comics, but like DC had 0 Hour in the '90s, where it was like. Because there was post-crisis to 0 Hour was like the weird continuity bubble. Because like year one happens a year after Crisis because like we don't know what to do with Batman. So the stories are just going to keep going on, but everything's on the same world. So 0-1 basically just reboots all of their origins, more or less. And then like I find out because like 0 Year happens after Nightfall when like Bane breaks Batman's back. And like Superman was already killed by Doomsday at this point. And like what I found out is basically what it does is like reboots Batman to being an urban legend in Gotham City. Like people don't know if he's real or not. But then like motherfucking Legacy happens, Contagion happens, and it goes all the way up until 2005 when it becomes official that Batman's no longer an urban legend. I'm like, that is not tenable. Like, that's not believable. Like,
not at all.
If you tell me the urban legend is like, there's a Batman, but nobody knows who he is he a demon or whatever, fine. But like, motherfuckers can't live in Gotham and say, there's no such thing as a Batman. I'm like, all this shit just happened.
I'm telling you something. That's a city.
No Man's Land just happened.
Right. I understand it's a fictional city. And I understand supposedly if you live in Gotham, you are at the peak of poverty. Right?
Look, Gotham is like also one of the wealthiest cities of the world.
It's literally. Hold on. Let me see. There's a domestic going on outside. Hold on real quick.
No problem.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm back. I'm back.
Okay.
Now, so Gotham like has no middle, right?
Yeah, like it's. Look,
You're either
I mean,
extremely
it
wealthy or
operates
extremely
by
poor.
the. Yeah, it operates by the rules of plot. You know, like that's the thing, because like if there was like nothing worth stealing, Selena Kyle wouldn't be constantly robbing the museums. You know.
Also, I love the theory that Bruce Wayne is a psychopath because he likes to beat on mentally ill people.
Ah, fuck
He,
it. I hate anyone that says that should be slapped in the face.
well,
Just
Bruce
like Batman slapping Robin.
Bruce just never like he could stop white collar crime. He's like, no, I'm gonna go in the hood.
Like, okay, you want to read the story where Bruce Wayne's just writing checks all day? How many comics is that going to sell?
This is true. This is true.
Like, and I think I think it was Scott Snyder that wrote it, but like, no, Barbatos. The reason Gotham's a shithole is because there's an ancient demon that exists deep under Gotham that draws evil to it. That's the reasoning
Okay,
why.
I can live that. I
Yeah.
live with that one perfectly. Then,
Yeah, without Batman, Gotham City is a hellhole. Gotham
literally.
City's yeah, like it's not good, but it's better than what it could be. Like there's probably middle class, and the way that like the most logical way to look at it is like if you're a New Yorker living in New York, other people just can't handle it.
Yeah, because according to Marvel Comics, everything starts in New York.
Yeah, like and like it's when you think about living in New York in the Marvel universe, like there's a big monster fight. Is my train delayed? Okay, no, it's just gonna get rerouted. All right, we're good.
shit, I gotta go to work. What? Captain America, man, fuck him. Tell him like I'm on my last strike, okay? Like,
Yeah, like that's where like Gothamite's probably just like it's probably like the people that moved to Gotham that are like, what's going on here? But like, there's like it's not gonna. They don't feature that in the comics because it's boring to read. You have to write problems that Batman can solve with his fists, because that's what comic books do.
yeah, this is true. Yeah, that's okay. That's that. I sent that off. Cool, got that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
My long term belief is like because these are stories inherently created for children. Uh,
true.
Most of the villains probably should be faking any mental illness because they are villains to not be emulated.
But did you? Somebody put up the other day about most of Batman's villains, and they were like, "Do you realize most of Batman's villains have PhDs?
Oh yeah, no, always. Yeah, doctors
Like,
always evil in comics.
doctors are evil. Like most of I was like, damn. Like the majority.
Well, you look at like the history of comics, like intelligence was always looked at as a villainous trait
Yeah.
because Lex Luthor, genius.
Yeah.
The leader, a genius.
Genius.
Like Doctor Doom.
Well, because they use their intelligence. Like I understand when you try to use your intelligence to usurp normal normal freedoms. I get that.
Yeah.
You know,
And, like,
I get that.
the classic tropes are like Thing and the Hulk versus Doctor Doom or the leader.
It's
like,
aggressive, brute aggression versus
Yeah.
intelligence.
Yeah, like that's I don't. It's just a thing that like because it's also the power fantasy that they were writing towards back in the day.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
like it's also the bigger problem in comics is how almost every therapist in comics ends up being a supervillain,
Yes.
which is like terrible. It's a terrible. It's a terrible
It's a terrible
precedent.
trope. It's a
Yeah.
very terrible trope because you're trying to say because what you do because like you just said earlier, comic books were inherently for kids.
Hmm.
Now we've realized that those kids are adults, and even some more adults. There are still kids that rock with comics, but not as much as adults. So what you're telling adults is your therapist is going to be evil.
Yeah, like it's saying basically don't go to therapy. Like Tom King, I don't like Tom King because of Batman stuff, but he wrote Heroes in Crisis, which is about Batman creates sanctuary. Like this mental place where heroes can go to unwind and unburden themselves with these android therapists. But the moral of the story was don't go to therapy because Wally West went to therapy and that made him more upset and made him do a lot of murders and then frame other people for his own murders. And it's just like this is an offensive story.
Jeez.
This was written in like the year of 2020. Should not be existing.
Wait, it was a recent, like a
That's a
it was a
recent
recent
story.
one.
Yeah. Because Wally
Oh,
West was gone because of New 52.
right.
And like it's bad. It's real bad. And like Leonard Sampson for the longest time, he was the only good therapist, but then they did like this, thing where I'm teaming up with the leader and all these other super genius villains. It's like god damn it.
I just don't, because by those standards, if everybody that has smarts or is a or therapist is a villain, the villain should technically rule because of
Yeah.
the genius level of intellect.
Well, no, because they just get punched. They'll get punched
But
down.
that's what I'm saying. But
Like
the comics show you that brawn and brute force and strength will beat out
yeah, like
intelligence any day. And that's not, like I said, it's not a good precedent to set at all.
no, like that's because look, these are stories for kids basically. Inherently, that's where they came from. It's where I wish they were still today. Some are better than others, but like thinking about Batman Forever, Chase Meridian, the idea of Chase Meridian is a great character. Like this cool therapist in Gotham. The problem is like I must date my patient. No, that's not good, Chase. Don't do that, Chase. Bring her into the comics, yes. Like have a therapist for Batman, but she does not have to get romantically interested in Batman. That would be great.
I don't know why it's either one of the two. They always do that with a lot of. Well, now I've seen some shows recently that don't do that because it used to be that it's either you were evil or you start dating your patient.
Yeah.
It's like no, a therapist should just be a damn therapist.
Yeah, like my dad watches Monk a lot. They get away with it because it's like his therapist is a guy, I guess, and this is not a show about a queer character. But like, yeah, fine. But like, almost all the time, it's like, especially if the therapist is a woman, like, oh, I might be falling for my patient. I'm like, Jesus Christ, write another story.
All right,
Or if that happens, say, I can no longer treat you. Let me refer you to
let me
somebody
refer
else.
you to somebody else. Yes, yes, that would make all the sense in the freaking world.
Yeah.
So here's
like,
a question. What's your real quick? Go ahead.
Oh
Sorry.
yeah, I was just saying like I would love like a comic writer have Batman say yes, he has a therapist, but knows who's Batman, and he's like, look, therapy's not gonna like the city needs me. I still need to be Batman, and I'm going to therapy and dealing with other issues, but like being Batman helps me. So like there, just like shut up the naysayers by saying the therapy Batman does go to therapy, and it's working. That's not going to stop him from being Batman because the city needs Batman.
Does therapy? But see, the thing with that is, it basically solidifies what all Bruce says. Yeah, therapy somewhat helps, but therapy, what it doesn't do is it doesn't tell him, yo, they're still two different people. Because it's still like, from what you're saying, Bruce is always like, no, I have to be Batman. I have to be Batman.
Here's the counter. He admits that he likes being Batman.
Okay.
That he doesn't have to be. He enjoys being Batman.
Enjoys it. Yes. Okay.
Look, sometimes you think about it, and then you're like, there's Crazy Quilt acting up, and sometimes like, look, I've got a rocket car, I've got like built my own plane, I've got all these girlfriends, I've got a loving family. Like, yes, no, my life is good, but the city needs me, and I also want to do this.
There's something about me dressing up in this suit and getting to punch people. Do you know how much stress I would have in a boardroom? I get to punch it out. Like,
it's like, look, the Bane's trying to take over the city, and look, I'm not gonna lie, it's fun to beat up Bane.
Have you ever hit a big motherfucker just to hit him?
Yeah.
Have you ever had to do that? No.
Look, revenge is bad, but he broke my back once, so getting a little payback.
Payback? I'm on a lot of steroids right now, but doc, so I can't take too many antidepressants because we know Bruce Wayne was on all of the steroids. You can't tell me otherwise.
I mean, I could. It's just comics, It's just, look, he's just great. He works too hard. He doesn't want his brain to be addled by drugs. Look, it's not real, Jay. It's not real.
This is true.
He's not Kamel building up bulk for a movie that never shows him shirtless.
Let's talk about, because I was like, yo, he made this whole big thing. At least he did a photo shoot, right?
Yeah.
He did a photo shoot.
Funniest thing in the world.
And everybody was like, oh, we're going to see Camille at least shirtless once or twice. You just see nothing but arms.
Yeah.
Hey, you got to be ready just in case.
It is funny though that Ms. Marvel is like the first thing to reference the Eternals.
Wait, what did she say?
Um, Cute boy. His mom's still really big into Kingo Senior.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
Kingo's
yeah.
Kumail's character, we just
Yeah,
kept
yeah,
playing
you're
the
right.
same
You're
person
right.
as a
You're right. That
junior or
was
senior. I was
you're
like,
right. That
yeah,
was the
somebody had to
Eternals
point
reference.
that out to me. I'm like, oh, I guess that is an Eternals thing.
Because it's so quick.
Yeah,
It's so
nobody
quick.
thinks of the Turtles, so
I don't know if you watch Rogue Theory, but we were talking about Avengers Con, and I was like, "Do you notice there were certain things that weren't there? Like, there's no Hawkeye there. There's nothing. There's nothing about Hawkeye at Avengers Con. There's no Spider-Man at Avengers Con. They made Marvel. I'm gonna tell you something. Disney are evil geniuses. They made all new merchandise specifically for the show that people are gonna want to buy. They made an Asgard Pride shirt. I said, "Oh, you sneaky bastards!"
my favorite thing about Avengers Con is like, what is this convention? This doesn't exist. This is like a rave. This is just a pop up.
And so we asked that question on Rogue Theory: Who owns the rights to event? Whoever owns Avenger Con that made it?
Yeah, like why is this at night only? That's
Thank
the
you.
why aren't you just like the afternoon, like an all weekend event? Like you could go during the day.
You can only rent that space for 3 hours at night, one night.
It was so confusing.
Look, I guess somebody was like, "Yo, we don't need to. Let's not think too much." I guarantee they was in the writers' room, like, "Can we not think too much about it?" And somebody probably was like, "But people are gonna ask."
Yeah,
Never
like
mind.
I get like they just need it for the plot reason of Kamala, you can't go. But like I'm thinking, well, maybe in the MCU conventions just don't exist. But then I remember all the Stark expos are conventions.
Conventions. They're conventions because it's like it's Avengers Con. You're telling me the thing to celebrate Earth's mightiest heroes after people got returned back to Earth when that population died is only one day at night
In
and
Jersey.
in Jersey. In Jersey.
Yeah.
Like
Like
she has to take a bus to get to. Like she
like
got to go through a whole process.
it's cute that it's at the camp whatever where Cap was born,
Yeah.
but I'm sorry. Look, if there's an Avengers con, it's going to be way bigger and it's going to be in New York.
That's another thing. It's at the base where they made Captain America, which is far out of nowhere, and all of a sudden a bus runs there. A bus goes there. That like you just hey
Also,
y'all.
like, I'm surprised that's not still a military installation.
Well, because it got torn. Well, you got to remember,
I guess it got blown up,
Winter
but
Soldier.
yeah. That
Winter
was
Soldier.
underground, though. I feel like they'd still, like, the military still owns it. We'll just rebuild. That was, like, a couple of years ago, right?
Nobody's gonna remember
There was
that.
5 years. There was a 5 year snap, right? Like that.
There's been explosions there's explosions every Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's fighting. Like, could you imagine being the New York Police Department in the MCU? They're like, don't call me for this. Like,
Oh, that's what, like, I love damage control. Like, ACAB, especially damage
yeah, you're
control.
like,
These
don't
pieces of shit are the worst.
you're like, just don't call me. If I'm a cop and I'm on my lunch break and there's a fight there's something going on with supervillains next door to where I'm having lunch, I'm literally getting on the radio saying, do not call me. What am I going to do? Because you always see police in these shows with just regular handguns.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, like,
nah.
this damage control had, like, laser rifle or something.
Yeah,
That's stun
you
rifle.
call the Office of Damage Control. You say, look, y'all sit back. You're going to be on the clock. You union. Here come damage control. Let me ask you this. What's your thoughts on the Sasha Banks thing?
Oh, I know there's lots of rumors that maybe she called a lawyer to get out of her contract. If so, good for her. Like, that's what more wrestlers should do when they want to leave that company.
That's because people probably can't afford that money because you got to have a big time lawyer.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Sasha's pretty well off, presumably
Yes, she's
speaking.
good. Yeah.
Like, her and her husband probably make, he probably makes less, obviously. She got Mandalorian money, probably.
Which is, again, why everybody keep being like, she needs the WWE. I was like, no, she doesn't anymore.
It's fucking wild that, like, the Sasha Naomi stuff comes out, and, of course, there's just the WWE stands that are just gonna, like, believe Vincent WWE's hardline stance of, like, oh, they're ungrateful? For what?
Jeff Hardy just got arrested again
Yeah.
in AEW. The man walked out during the match. It gets no more unprofessional than that.
Yeah, like I could, and the walking out, we don't know if he was under the influence during that.
Right, I don't know if he was under the
Honestly,
influence. I'm not even taking the under the influence part. I'm just talking about the fact he walked out during, like, you at least finish your show, go to the back, then leave.
on like, so I'm mixed on that because if you hate your job so much and they will not let you leave, walking out is like the best way to make a stand, really. Especially like these are people that need a union and nobody's willing to fight to get a union. But yeah, walking out, I'm fine with that, Jeff. It's WWE. You're not hurt. You're hurting WWE. You're hurting Vince McMahon because the fans didn't care because they're like, oh yeah, sure, whatever.
Well, I look at it, and I'm just looking at it more so in the grand scheme.
Yeah, like it's wildly different doing that on an independent show versus for Vince McMahon. You know,
Right. Yeah.
like there's a level of like difference in business.
But also, is Jeff Hardy, who by all rights is a Hall of Famer. He probably will never. They probably will never go in until one of them unfortunately dies, because
Yeah, they ain't gonna retire.
they ain't gonna retire. But it's, you have a big name that does that. That probably can do that, because again, it's like he leaves. What happens 90 days later? Look where he at.
Yeah.
AEW. But then look what happens then. So it's like Jeff Hardy needs to get treatment. But I go back to that to say, like, Jeff has done certain things like walk out. Randy Orton, look, we can celebrate 20 years of the Viper all the fuck we want. Okay? People need to remember, there was a point year 5 he should have been gone. When he was shitting in suitcases.
Yeah, look. Toxic work environment for sure back then.
For sure.
Yeah. And like yeah, like the walking out, like
Well, I'm not even talking about that. I'm more so the rumors being that she's released.
I mean,
and like it hasn't even been confirmed. I just don't like people making rumors when it hasn't been confirmed.
Yeah, like that's the weird thing. Like, I mean, if it is, it's entirely to distract from Vince McMahon's allegations of hush money.
And I wouldn't be. And also, me and one of my buddies, actually the friend who got me into the wrestling business, him right before I had to talk to my daughter and kiss her ass because I messed up. Daddy messed up with his ladybug, but he was like, Vince McMahon pulled, for lack of better words, the biggest big dick move ever. He was like, I don't give a fuck about these allegations. I'm going to go. The shit comes out the Wall Street Journal, makes national news. The next day, Vince said, no, put it out. I'm going to be on SmackDown.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, wait, what?
Yeah, like he's no longer but he's still running the company, basically.
He's still this is another thing people forget. Vince McMahon as the CEO is one paycheck. Mr. McMahon as a character is another.
Yeah, like, and what's funny is like Stephanie's gone. Oh, now Stephanie's the CEO is the funniest thing.
So it's so much because that's the thing. Like, I think all the, how everybody say everything that's done in the dark comes to light. Well, the one thing that ain't coming to light is Triple H's affair, because that's why NXT got changed. Stephanie found out Triple H had a side piece when he was in the hospital.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that. I haven't heard that yet. So
yeah, it's never come out. It's like, it's one of those, you got to be in the know to know it. So what happened was, so even the reason the Vince McMahon thing is a big thing, it's not just because Vince is a piece of shit. It's the McMahon family brand is what holds the nexus of the WWE together, right?
Yeah. Like, I love reading all the rumors. I'm like, Nick Khan slowly taking over WWE. I'm like, sure, why not? I'm interested in seeing what this company would be like run by a not McMahon, I guess.
I think a lot of people are like, yo, it'd be the first time ever, because Vince Sr. had it.
Yeah.
Now Vince Jr. And Vince supposedly was going to give it to, because Shane people made some memes about Shane not being CEO. Shane don't want it.
She ain't that good at his job.
Like, look, we already saw what happened at the fucking Royal Rumble. So,
yeah. Look, if there's one thing, like, because I remember the things about like the rumors that people were saying Steph was bad at her job. If there's one thing Steph's good at, it's both her jobs as an on-character, on-screen persona, and also all the like social media stuff. She's so good at like
Steph helped
getting their
move that
names
company.
out there.
Yeah, Steph helped move this company further than a lot of people actually fucking realize.
Yeah, like it's just like you want to talk about useless McMahon, Shane, easily.
No, Linda.
She's not part of the she's probably part of the company in name only.
Yeah, name only. You're right.
Like
You're
she's
right.
never like. Also, they're separated, so like she's
That's
barely a
what
thing.
that's what I'm saying. So when it came out, everybody was like, the people who know was like, what does it matter? He had an affair. Y'all don't understand. Him and Linda have been separated for almost a decade. They
Yeah.
just still live together because of the image.
Yeah,
Right?
the affair is not the issue. It's all the other statements that were surrounding it and the hush money. It basically, what is it called? It's not extortion. It's I don't know, stealing from the company, basically.
Embezzlement.
Yes, that's what like it came. That's what the way it was pictured and phrased is like. Nah, we're just gonna like. Also, like, there's clearly other things going on, like the statement where I was offered the Johnny Ace as basically a prize for him.
Which I was like, yo.
And it's just like, oh, Jesus.
I heard that shit. I was like, what the fuck? Like, that is crazy to hear. So Stephanie's back to Stephanie. Stephanie found out Triple H had a side piece. So she couldn't divorce him because of the public light. So she was like, since I can't leave you, and plus also their daughters, I'm going to take your baby away from you. And that's why NXT got gutted.
Oh.
And that's why I got gutted. That's why all the remnants of old NXT are gone. Like they literally told Ciampa, you got one or two choices right now. You either go to this roster or you gone. Because we're not going to let you retire out. And so all of that happened. If you notice, it's only one person left from the original Black and Gold regime that they can't get rid of. Shawn.
Oh, Michaels?
Mm-hmm. Michaels is the only one left.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Why they can't get rid of him. Because, like, he's friends with Tundra, but, like, he's still, like, their golden boy.
He's still the golden boy. So Shawn is the only one. And so that's what happened with that. And so now, like,
and
Johnny...
he's not
so
even, like, the best part of that era, so... He was probably one of the...
I told you...
Matt, it was all about Matt and Regal.
Oh, those... And people going to have to start giving Matt Bloom a whole lot more credit. Because he is out here making stars.
Yeah, like, but he took over training from, Hugh, right?
Bill
Hugh
DeMott.
Morris?
From Bill DeMott. Because the DeMott was the most... Now, talk about a toxic work environment.
Yeah.
DeMott was out here on terrible shit. But the Vince shit, what's going to happen is John Laurinaitis is going to catch it all, right?
Yeah, of course. 100%.
Vince McMahon is an evil genius, and here's why. Yes, the WWE is a publicly traded company, right?
Yeah, like, isn't it impossible for him to get voted out?
It's because he owns the controlling vote.
Yeah.
He owns the vote. That's what somebody was like, they can vote him out. I was like, no. He made sure when it went public, he bought the stock and bought the controlling vote. So no matter what happens, he will always be there. So like people like he's stepping down as CEO. He's stepping down as acting in the front CEO.
Yeah,
he's still fucking there.
Yeah, like that's look. It's not a surprise that he's a monster and a terrible person. It's it's just the publicity is the thing that will get to them, if anything.
But how long does it last? I think the question is how long does it last?
That's the that's the $1 million question.
How long does it last? Because if it's out the eye, look, it was 24 hours. It luckily happened on a Thursday. SmackDown was the next day, so people were gonna talk about it. It gets the weekend. If nothing happens this week, that brings this shit up, the WWE gonna run Raw and SmackDown just like normal.
Yeah, like fucking what's his face? Dave on CNN for like 3 minutes.
Everybody's like, why the fuck you bring in Dave Meltzer?
It's the dumbest thing. And he's like the terrible camera angle with those giant ass headphones. It's the funniest thing.
Everybody was like, out of all people to be a wrestling insider to talk to, you got Dave fucking Meltzer.
So
I'm not gonna
dumb.
lie. If you would have went that far, if you want to go that extreme, get Jim Cornette in. I don't give a fuck. If you gonna go,
And like, this might be mean. I don't know if you're still friends with him, but like seeing the Ryan Satin tweets about it, I'm like, but it's like I'm not a journalist. Yes, we know you're not a journalist, Ryan. We've seen your reporting.
I'm still friends with Ryan.
Yeah.
And see, but that's the thing though. Like a lot of people, I'm glad the way Ryan phrases it too. Ryan's like, I'm not a journalist.
Yeah, like the what he wrote it like because like I got depressed from it because like I would report on far worse things and everybody was mad at me. I'm like, no, you reported about things that you never were proven, and you don't. You basically once you got the job for WWE, you became basically a shill.
Well, but here's how he justifies it because he doesn't work for WWE.
Oh yeah, he works for Fox.
He works
right?
for Fox. It's just that he's the official Fox dude for wrestling.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, like we the public world watching everything that he does and says. I'm like, okay, buddy, that's nice.
You're like, all right, bro. Like I remember seeing stories back in the day before I even knew who Ryan was. When I was like, I would read it and then I would text a couple of my buddies that were in the locker room. I was like, yo, what the fuck is this? And they were like, he has no idea what he is talking about.
Like I think the one joke that I read, I'm like, yeah, like I don't like I'm not a journalist. Well, that's because Jimmy Jacobs doesn't work in WWE, so you don't have a source anymore.
You don't have a guy in the inside. Like we all knew who your guy was. It was easy. Like, fucking hell. Fucking hell. What else is going on with you?
Not much. Yeah,
Life.
Yeah, like we took my dad out for Mexican food for Father's Day lunch. So sister's
yeah, it
over.
is it's like 4:00 out there now.
Yeah, around there. We started at 3-ish, so.
Oh, okay, cool.
Probably not 4 yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the wrestling, wrestling and comics, those are the things we always talk about because, like, I was lazy, so I didn't do my makeup today. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm disappointed.
I didn't get back until like 2:15, so I'm like, nah, not enough time to do makeup for Jay. So
it's all
the
good.
fans can go without. They got my hair though.
They got the new hair. So look, let's get up out of here because I'm supposed to be. I don't know what people. Some few friends were like, "Yo, what are you doing for Father's Day?" And I was like, "What do you think I'm doing?" And they was like, "Oh, so let's figure out what we're all gonna do." I was like, "Okay, cool." So tell the people because, like, I tell everybody, Father's Day for me is like I don't have my kid. I get to talk to them, in the morning, but then it's just like I gotta watch. I can post the pictures of me and my kids, and then it's just like everybody's like, "I'm out with my dad," and I'm like, "Fuck you, I'm at home."
Yeah, like unless you're visiting for the weekend preemptively,
right?
Live in different cities, states,
and shit like that. So I'm trying to figure it out more because financially and see what happens. But tell the people how they can get in touch with you, compliment the lovely hair, and more.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram and Twitch at Jolene Double O Negative. You follow my podcast at Divas of Design on Twitter and Instagram. Yeah, like we take design submissions throughout pop culture, discuss and rank them in an ever-growing list. Currently, our number ones are the No Ghost sign from Ghostbusters as the number one, and the bottom one is Elon Tusk from Rick and Morty, and that depresses me. I want a better, worse design.
Elon Tusk is hilarious to me.
Yeah, it's just Elon Musk with Tusk. I hate it.
I remember that. I was like...
Previously, it usurped the spot from Jared Leto Joker. That was our previous worst design. And I think before that was Cody Rhodes' WWE American Nightmare shirt. It's real bad. It's real bad.
Oh no, I gotta look.
It's a shirt. You look at that. I'm like, I think that person might be racist.
Hold on.
Shocker, I know, right?
Hold on, because remember the ACH shirt.
I mean, no, I don't. Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I remember the ACH shirt.
Yeah, like you said about T-shirt, American Nightmare.
I could pull it up probably.
Oh, this old Freedom one.
That might be a different one. Let me. Let me pull up our official list of designs because I've got this whole Imager file post about it. That's just all the Divas of Design shirts.
Because I see one with his whole. Oh, you talking about the one that has the tattoo?
Sort of.
And it's got American Nightmare down the middle.
No, that doesn't sound right. I will share the screen with you.
Yes, please do. Let's see. Because anything that uses the flag pretty much looks like it can be used.
Yeah. No, it definitely uses the flag. So I submitted it for sharing.
Where does it give me an option to say you can share?
Yeah,
oh,
like
here
on the.
I see it.
Add to stream.
I got it. I saw it at the bottom. Oh yeah, I saw that was the one I just looked at. Okay.
Yeah, Pharaoh, I guess, the American Nightmare, red, white, and blue skull with Native American red and blue feathers, and a crown that's and fire all behind it. It's such a bad design, y'all.
This is a cocaine design. This is a what all can I put together in one real quick thing.
And this was like the shirt that they released the day he debuted in WWE again. I was like, "This is your shirt." Oh,
this is the WrestleMania. This is the one they pull out the box.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the one that sits. For those watching and don't understand, anytime somebody's about to debut, that they know. Trust me, the company knows everything. Merchandise knows. Here's the catch. There's always a box at the merch stands if somebody's debuting that they cannot open until that moment happens. Because if that moment that box comes out, that product comes out, people start sharing it like, oh shit. So like, oh, that's crazy. Oh, before I let you go, they done brought Brock back for the 90,000th time. They done broken case of emergency again on Brock. It was like, break a case of emergency.
I didn't know he was back. I just know like Roman's like, yeah, I'm gonna take some time off. I'm like, good for you, Roman.
They had him fake because what it is everybody's injured. It's not even just everybody's like, oh, well, what is it? They don't know what to do. Everybody's hurt.
I saw an image of Cody's arm. I was like, is that makeup? That's not makeup. He wrestled like that? What the fuck, Cody? Because I only heard about the promo he cut about working through injuries. I'm like, that is a terrible message to send to children. Your child. You should not tell them like, no, you should work through that. That is terrible.
They literally, I remember because they literally, like the day of Hell in a Cell, they how sometimes they go to the desk and they're like, look, how they give the Michael Cole, and there's like, earlier today, Jimmy Smith was like, earlier today, Cody Rhodes, while training, so he was already hurt. He, like, whenever they did the jump angle or whatever, he was already hurt. They said while Cody was training, he completely tore his pec tendon off the bone, and he said he still will compete. So everybody, of course, on social media was, oh, this is a work. And they were like, it's a work. When Cody comes out, I was like, when he starts doing that pose at the thing, he only raised his left arm. And I was like, have you seen it from the intro of the match?
No, I've seen the photos of him shirtless, and I'm like, this is disgusting.
So you can see when he does the pose, you can see a bit of the level of bruising on his chest here. And I tweeted, I said, I can see the bruising on his chest. This shit is bad. And he took that jacket off, and I was like, ah! Everybody in Chicago I know that was there, they said you could not imagine how fucking quiet it was because people could not believe what they were seeing.
Look, if a doctor says you shouldn't do that, you should listen to your doctor, Cody fucking Rhodes. Like, him and Brandy, I'm worried for their child's future because of all the things Brandon's like, no, I'm not going to take maternity leave. You got to work through that. I'm like, you do not, ma'am. You do not.
I'm gonna leave on that note. Y'all know where to find me: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all that good shit. I will holler at y'all in the next one. Take care.